There are more ways to earn money than just a wage or a salary. Now, you may earn a wage at the co-op or working at some kind of store. You may work, if you have a higher level job, you'll get a salary. But again, those are not the only ways. In the next couple sections, we'll talk about other ways that you can earn money. So the first way that we'll talk about is by piecework. And piecework just means that you get paid according to the number of items that you complete. So for example, if Greg works as a tree planter during the summer and he earns his income through piecework, he's paid $2.50 for each seedling he plants. If he plants 45 seedlings in a day, how much will he earn? Well, there's multiple ways of doing this, but the quickest way is the fact that he's planting 45 seeds at $2.50 per seed. So by multiplying that out, that means that Greg, in one day, would earn $112.50. Mary works as a flower arranger. She's paid $143.75 for making 25 identical flower arrangements for a wedding. How much was she paid per arrangement? Well, if we remember back to our currency, per means divide. So per arrangement, we're looking at dividing by the flower arrangements. So this ties back to when we talk about unit price. If we take our $143.75 and divide it by 25, let's see, I type that into my calculator. That means, so per arrangement, that means she is getting paid $5.75 per arrangement. Now, these are not the only types of things that you can get paid piecework upon. Now, piecework does typically talk about getting paid a lower amount per item than you do compared to something that we'll talk about on the backside when we talk about contract, which can be done as another way. But a piecework is essentially just a type of contract. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. A second way that you can get paid is by commission, which means that you're paid a percentage of a transaction. This is very similar or very common in industries that have sales-based income. So Ming works in a store that sells classic Chinese furniture such as armchairs and stools. Ming works on a commission rate of 6.5% of his gross sales. If he sold $9,865 worth of furniture last week, how much commission did he earn? Well, first thing that we want to do, and just like we talked about before, we can do this in multiple ways. But 6.5 divided by 100 will be 0.065. So one way that we can do this is 9,865 multiplied by 0.065. And my calculator, 9865 multiplied by 0.065. And it does not hurt to do a little bit of a reminder. It is $641.225. Well, money does not have 3 decimal places. Money gets rounded to 2 decimal places. So we need to look at a third. Is it 5 or higher? Absolutely. Which means this number would round as $641.23. So some of you may prefer to do this as a proportion because, like I said, you're going to be doing lots of proportions. 6.5 over 100. Well, our 100% is at 9,865. So cross multiply and divide, showing your work. 9,865 multiplied by 6.5 divided by 100. I can guarantee you it will give you $641.23 as an answer. Next example, Mike earned $416.03 commission on his sales of $9,245. What is his rate of commission? Well, there's multiple ways of doing this one. But if we talk about it as setting up as proportion, we don't know what the percentage is out of 100. So, but we know that $416.03 is the percentage of our total. So the $9,245 is our 100%. Our $416.03 is the commission. So in order to manipulate this equation, so this is one way, I'll show you another way. $416.03 multiplied by 100. Again, I do expect that you're showing some work. And it will be divided by that $9,245. Divided by 9,245. And that times 100, that would work out as 4.5%. Another way that you could simply do this is actually understanding that percent is basically taking your smaller number divided by your bigger number and multiplying by 100. Percent is the part divided by whole times 100, which is actually exactly what this is. Now it just may be written slightly different. The part of it, $416.03, divided by $9,245, and then times 100, you'll still get 4.5%. So that just means that Mike is getting paid 4.5% of whatever his gross sales is. So there are different places or different, again, organizations or companies that do percentage base. Are things in sales. So like selling things at a store. We don't know what Mike works, but if he sold $9,245, he is selling something. He's in sales. Many realtors, so selling houses, will work on a commission base. They get a percentage of whatever they sell their houses at. Now, I made a comment before that we also have what's known as contract work. Now, contract work is an agreement between two or more parties that describes the amount and type of work and the amount to be paid. Typically, by contract work, you are what's known as self-employed. So when you work for yourself rather than someone else, you're your own boss, which means that you can accept different jobs depending on what you want to do. For example, a contract. Now, I made the mention in relation to piecework because my favorite example of a type of contract which is piecework is shoveling driveways. During the winter, well, if you say that you expect to be paid $10 for shoveling someone's driveway, that's a contract. but you are getting paid for every single item that you complete. So if you're out all day and you complete 50 driveways at $10 a pop, well, that's $500. But it is what's known as a verbal contract. Now, if you're working anything, you want to make sure that you have your contracts in writing. It helps prepare you and save you any kind of extra headache. Well, our last example here is Sam is figuring out what he should charge for repairing a step on a client's house. So he's in a repair business. He's in doing some kind of construction. The cost of materials will be $785.96. He will have to hire 2 workers for 8 hours each at a rate of $12.85 per hour. He wants to earn at least $450 for himself. What should he charge the client? So there's a few things that you need to keep in mind. For example, so if you are working in construction, you're going to have to buy some materials. If you can't do something by yourself, you may have to hire employees. And you want to be able to make money, so you need to make sure that you pay yourself something. So the cost of materials, obviously, $785.96. The cost of the labor, he's hiring 2 workers for 8 hours each at a rate of $12.85 per hour. Well, if you just have 1 worker at $12.85 for 8 hours, so he's paying his workers a wage. $12.85 for 8 hours means that just for 1 worker, he's going to have to pay them $102.80. But he's hiring 2 workers. So multiply that by 2. That works out as $205.60. Now Sam wants to get paid. He wants to earn some money as well. Because it looks like he is a contractor. He has people that work under his job position, his title, and he wants to earn money himself. Either it can be to be able to pay his own bills, or it could be to invest in his business. But he wants to pay himself $450 for this job. So those are at least in this situation, these are the 3 things that Sam has to be paying attention to. So the total cost is just adding those numbers together. $785.96, $205.60, and $450. So type those numbers into my calculator. And it comes out as a total of $1,441.56. So when he goes and gives his client a quote saying, hey, this is going to cost you $1,441 or $1,441.56, then whoever needs to have their step replaced or repaired can say, oh yeah, I can afford that, or maybe I can't afford it. They may go somewhere else. But that is what Sam is quoting for his client. All right, that means you can have some fun with your math. Work hard.